In this lesson, you will learn how to classify triangles. Now, I know most of my audience already knows how to do this, so hopefully you can use this as a refresher whenever you need it. Triangles can be classified according to their sides or angles. If you choose to classify them according to their angles, you may call them an acute, obtuse, or right triangle. Acute is when all three of the angles are less than 90. Obtuse is when one of the angles is greater than 90. And a right triangle is when one of the angles is exactly 90 degrees. Now, if you choose to classify it based on its sides, you may call it a scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. A scalene is when you have no congruent sides, congruent meaning the same. They're all different. Isosceles is when you have two congruent sides, and it turns out that when you have two sides that are the same length, the angles that are making up those sides are also the same. And finally, an equilateral is when all three sides are the same. Now, with that being said, take a look at this question. Classify the given triangle as acute, obtuse, right, scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. State all that apply. As you can see, we have the symbol at this vertex. That symbol is a square, and that tells us that that angle is a 90-degree angle. So right from the get-go, we know that this is a right triangle. Whenever you have a right triangle, you will have one side that is longer than the other two, and that's called the hypotenuse. It's directly across from the right angle. So if you look across this way, the line that extends from here to here is called the hypotenuse, and the two other sides are called the legs of the right triangle. So these two are the exact same, and we can tell that they're the same because they both have these ticks, and they're called the legs. Now, I mentioned earlier that if you have two congruent sides, it's an isosceles. So not only is this a right triangle, it's an isosceles as well, so we call it an isosceles right triangle. And there you have it. That is how to classify triangles.